This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
We are back after a long road trip last night to Trinidad State and Trinidad, Colorado.
That should make you do those road trips by yourself.
You know what? Been there, did it, done it.
That's true.
So,
anyways,
lots of fun, huh?
It was one of the worst experiences.
We're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for today. Our program, our last program for the week, because we have more basketball on tap Friday. Our last program for the week is brought to you by Morris Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue. Sweet Dean, the Greenway Commons, across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. It's First Tier Bank. Lennox Auto Body over on Dunn Avenue. The Auto Glass and Detail Center from Lennox Auto Body over on Persian Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank times 2 on Vanda High and at the corner of College and Pershing. Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange, right across from Menards. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30. And Taco John's of Cheyenne. Oh, by the way, all of our fine sponsors wish you and the entire family a very happy Thanksgiving. And happy Thanksgiving from Will and the gang over at Pepsi of Cheyenne, where we go to our scoreboard. Here's Nick.
Recapping the action from last night with LCCC men's and women's basketball. We'll start on the men's side down at Trinidad State Junior College. It was not a pretty one. It was not a fun one as men lose 87-68 to Trinidad State Junior College. So LCCC, they moved to 3-4 overall. For the women as well, taking on Trinidad State. It was a close one, a few questionable calls, but we'll get into that. It may be something you tuned in for the postgame show, but LCCC women do fall to Trinidad State 70-65, so they move to 4-3 overall. NHL action for tonight, as it's going to be a lengthy one, as again, no games with Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow. Montreal Canadiens in New Jersey taking on the Devils. The New York Rangers in the Mecca, Madison Square Garden, hosting the New York Islanders. Dallas Stars in Pittsburgh taking on the Penguins. In the nation's capital, Washington Caps hosting the Chicago Blackhawks. Toronto Maple Leafs traveling to Carolina to take on the Hurricanes. Buffalo Sabres, KeyBank Center hosting the Philadelphia Flyers. You will also see the Boston Bruins in Detroit taking on the Red Wings. Tampa Bay Lightning hosting the Florida Panthers in the Battle of Florida. St. Louis Blues in Nashville taking on the Preds. Minnesota Wild at XL Energy Center hosting the Ottawa Sens. Vegas Golden Knights in the Battle of the Desert Teams will travel to Phoenix to take on the Arizona Coyotes. Calgary Flames hosting the Winnipeg Jets. Anaheim Ducks at the Pond. Honda Center hosting the Vancouver Canucks. And the Colorado Avalanche traveling out to L.A. to take on the Kings at Staples. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
From the National Football League tomorrow, your Turkey Day games. Oh, by the way, if you missed out, Chicago and Detroit in an old black and blue matchup. And that will be at Ford Field. Traditional. It's a traditional gathering.
Yes.
At AT&T Stadium in Arlington, a traditional gathering between the Dallas Cowboys, and they hook up with the Washington Redskins, with Mark Sanchez now as the backup quarterback to Colt McCoy.
Anyways.
And Atlanta will face New Orleans. That will be your highlight game at night in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and that will be one to watch after you gorge on all of the turkey. Now let's go to the National Hockey League. No, we want to go to the NBA.
You just read the hockey.
Well, I know. I was all excited about the Avs playing tonight at L.A., but in the NBA, Pacers will be at the Hornets, Pelicans at the 76ers, Raptors and the Hawks at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, GA, Knicks and the Celtics in the TD Garden, Lakers and the Cavaliers in the Quicken Loans Arena. A homecoming for LeBron James tonight. Isn't that precious? Suns and the Bulls tonight in the United Center. Pistons and the Rockets in the Toyota Center. Trailblazers and the Bucks in the Fiserv Forum. Nuggets will try to get back on the winning track. They take on the T-Wolves in the Target Center in Minneapolis. It will be the Nets and the Mavericks at American Airlines Center in Dallas. Grizz and the Spurs in the AT&T Center. Kings and the Jazz tonight. That will be in Salt Lake City. The Warriors will host.
They're looking to get back on
Thunder.
the winning track as well.
Oh, they have sucked. They've lost their last 4 games. And Steve Kerr says, hey, don't worry about it. You know, we kind of
what does the regular season mean for them?
They kind of expected this to happen.
Not worried about it.
Anyway, that'll be in the Oracle Arena. Our scoreboard brought to you by.
There's one big matchup as well, too, in NCAA. You just mentioned it. In men's basketball, you will have the battle of top 5 teams. Number 1, Duke, taking on number 3, Gonzaga in the Maui finals, Maui tournament finals.
The Zags and the Blue Devils.
Could it be a possibility of a Final Four matchup? Maybe. Possibly. But it's a good one.
I care.
Whatever.
All right. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a 2-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83. Come on, you're up.
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Okay, good day in the weight room, boys. Remember, we lift weights for strength. For cardio, we lift weights faster. Wachowski, quit looking at your stomach, son. What you're looking for ain't there. If you want a 6-pack, the easiest way to get one is at Taco John's.
Stop in for a 6-pack and a pound at Taco John's. Get 6 crispy beef tacos and a pound of potato olays, all for $10.99.
Let's Olay the day and go get one right now. Last one there has to pick up Mrs. Coach from jiu-jitsu class.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Due to our stormy season this summer, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service is offering you a hail of a deal on a wide variety of travel trailers, including toy haulers. Get up to an additional 50% off MSRP on Jolly Rogers' already low prices. Check out their new and used inventory. Damaged or not, you can still travel in style. Call Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service today, your exclusive Jayco dealer, at 634-8457. See them at 6102 U.S. Highway 30 or go to jollyrogersrv.com. Cheyenne Regional Cancer Services now offers genetic risk assessment and counseling that may help determine your chance of being diagnosed with cancer. If you have a personal or family history of cancer, especially cancer diagnosed under age 50, you may benefit from a consultation to look out for your now and your family's future. For more information about our genetic risk cancer assessment and counseling service, please call 307-634-9311.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 58. For tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 26. For Thanksgiving Day, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 57. And on Thursday night, it'll be cloudy with lows around 30.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. It's a busy, busy day, so we're going to get right into the thick of things. Our first guest, and we are thankful that he also brought in one of the special players on this year's team, Austin Albers, who's the head coach of the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles volleyball team. 32-9 this season, bringing home a nice pennant that will go in the gymnasium.
You said a special number there, 9. How about Austin Albers, head coach of the 9th best team in the nation? How about that, though?
Well, you didn't let me finish, but that's
All
okay.
Right, that's true.
You know,
right.
that's the way he is. I mean, he thinks he knows everything, but
You take everything away from me. So.
Anyway, Coach, first off, congratulations. And I know Hutchinson, Kansas is a nice getaway from Cheyenne, but it's good to be home.
Yes, it's definitely good to be home, and especially for us to be able to have a little bit of a break here, for the ladies to get out and be able to go on their Thanksgiving break, regroup a little bit before we hit this last stretch of classes and finals and those kinds of things before we head into the second semester.
You know, when you're out there, obviously, and you're participating in a tournament such as this prestigious tournament, are you also out there looking at, or are potential recruits looking at LCCC? How does that go when you're in this type of tournament? Yeah,
you know, I think we're always on display in terms of marketing our program, and it's funny because it seems like there has to be a list of the teams that make the national tournament, and a lot of recruits looking at the junior college option. A lot of transfers that are at junior college that are less successful. The emails have already started flooding in of, oh, hey, I've really been thinking about you guys. I'm looking to transfer. Or, hey, you know, I've been looking to go the JUCO route, and your guys' name came up. So be able to put us on that stage with the best of the best at nationals really does help our recruiting and getting our name out there, and gives us recognition so that players that are looking to play at this level are reaching out to us and noticing and recognizing us as a program that they want to be a part of and be successful at.
It's almost kind of laughable where he said, hey, we finally get a break. Well, it doesn't seem like you're going to get a break, though, again, reading all those emails, but also, too, you got to focus on, hey, your current sophomores are going to be moving on, or at least maybe other freshmen, a part of this team might be moving on that next level, but recruiting as well, too. Again, it's a 365, 24/7 opportunity as well. I mean, that's that after, again, you're trying to basically take in what happened at that national tournament, but right now is your mind kind of focused on that kind of mentality right now, focusing on recruiting and also to your current players as well right now?
Yeah, you know, for our coaching staff, there really never is a break. So for us, the recruiting piece is big, especially this year. We had 10 sophomores, and then we have one freshman who signed Division I to move on. So for us, 11 pieces, 11 spots to have to fill is a lot, probably even more than normal for us at the junior college level. And so for us, we have a really good base coming in. I think we've got 4 or 5 already. So we're really excited about that group. Now it's about going and finding those missing pieces, those players that have been overlooked and are still available late that can help us out. And like I said, you know, the transfer market's going to open up here as NCAA season finishes up this week. A lot of those emails and those things will start to come through. So, yeah, as soon as we get back on Monday, things are going to start hitting really heavy in terms of recruiting and working to try to finalize and get most of our roster finished up and polished off before we get to spring ball is always nice. That way you can just focus on development and those kinds of things with the players that you have coming back.
You have a 32-9 overall record, over 100-plus matches because, again, you know, you got to win sets to win a one-loss game. But you were blessed this year with a very sophomore-laden roster. So, again, the comfort zone between your sophomores, knowing each other, and then you brought in some of the freshmen to join in on the games as well. Tell us how all of this developed throughout the course of the season. Again, I don't want to say it's a disruption, but did it all gel together real quick?
Yeah. Not as quickly as we would have liked it to. You know, at one point we were sitting at 7-7, and I'll be honest with you, I had my head in my hands, pulling my hair out, trying to figure out what we needed to do and what we needed to fix to get there. And we played a challenging schedule like we do every preseason, but there were just matches that we dropped, and you know, we were very close. And being that close, we were hungry for more. And so it happened there around the weekend. It was actually after our second loss to Otero. We flipped some things with our rotation, changed some things. We actually had a Division I coach that was out in our gym recruiting one of our athletes that was telling me about a funky rotation that they were running, where their middles were opposite of their setters, and something I hadn't really seen much of. And so I wrote it down on paper, and we kind of on the bus on the way back from our Otero loss, and wrote it down and kind of figured some things out. And we came into practice, and I just said, hey, we're flipping this thing. Everything's brand new. We got to go from here. And after that, we went 30-2.
Yeah, you settled in and found the winning combination, didn't you?
Yeah, and so much of it is just our coaching staff, you know, for us, just not screwing it up. We knew we had talent. It was just a matter of finding personnel, finding the matchups, finding the chemistry. And once you do that and you can start winning some games and just gaining some traction, then the chemistry can build, because then you're not changing it all the time. And, you know, that's why we play preseason, why we go through those ups and downs and peaks and valleys of the preseason, is trying to figure all of that stuff out. And then as we did that and we started to find combinations and things that worked for us, we stuck to it. That allows the team to build chemistry, build momentum. And once the wheels got spinning, our team did an awesome job of keeping things rolling. And then when we lost games, we didn't panic. We just kind of got back to what we did. We lost a match at the conference tournament, figured out a way to go three straight back and find a way to nationals. We lost first round of the national tournament, found a way to grit our teeth and get three more. So our team did a good job of not panicking, just sticking to what we do well. And I think that speaks toward the maturity that you're talking about with having such a sophomore heavy class.
Let's talk about having regional here in Cheyenne at Story Gym and how things went there, and then, of course, moving on to Hutchinson, Kansas. And again, too, your sophomores been through the drill. They know what it's like, but for the freshmen, trying to keep that emotion and that excitement in check as you have to be almost like a father figure instead of a coach sometimes, because it's exciting. You're out of Cheyenne.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the region tournament was fun. Being able to finally host it in Cheyenne, even though it wasn't at our facility. We got tired of driving to other places, and it was nice to be able to finally have it here. We were supposed to have it back in 16, and we had a group that was really talented and ended up coming 3 points shy at a neutral site. And it was one of those where you just think, like, what if we would have been able to have it here at home? So this year to be able to do it in Cheyenne at Story Gym was nice. We weren't able to replicate, obviously, the home court advantage of being in our facility, but I thought our fans did a good job of turning out, supporting us. It was a fun atmosphere to play in, and just that comfort of being able to sleep in your own bed, go to class that day, those kinds of things, I think really played into our team's success down the stretch. We were comfortable, even when we lost and stumbled a little bit there. I never felt like our team panicked or felt uncomfortable, which is important for us to being able to stay steady and battle back with our backs against a wall. And then going to Hutchinson, it's always fun. I know it's not America's top vacation destination, but they do a good job of putting on the tournament. They have great facilities. Just the atmosphere of the national tournament is really cool. It was great for our sophomores to be able to experience it a second time without hopefully as much of the jitters and this is new and the shock and awe part of it. But for our freshmen, it's a great opportunity for them to see what our prize at the end of the season looks like. The opportunity to go to the banquet and listen to former Division I coach speak, to be able to be out there and competing against some of the best athletes in the country at our level, and some that'll go play for their Olympic teams. A lot of those international kids are playing for their Olympic teams and junior national teams when they go back home. So to be able to go out there and give them that experience is awesome. But even more important than that, we were able to go out and compete and find a way to win games and increase the expectation from last year. And that's really exciting and hopefully infectious for our freshman class to be a part of, because that's a reputation and an expectation now that they understand and see that they need to carry on.
We are talking to Austin Albers, head coach of the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles volleyball team, and we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We also got a special guest that we want joining us here in a little bit. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, I just want to say, at least for you, Coach, and again, it's something that the city needs to recognize as well, too, with this program. It's, as you were talking about, going back to Hutchinson, Kansas, at least getting past that kind of jitterness of being there for the first time, but it's kind of becoming a been here, did it, done it, at least situation where, again, right now you've been here, did it, and improved, at least from where you were last season. Again, finishing 9th overall in the nation. Again, this is teams across the nation, not just in the region, but it's something that this city hopefully is recognizing. I'm assuming, at least just kind of give us like an idea of the crowds. Are crowds starting to show up for and kind of supporting volleyball right now for LCCC? I mean, what is success bringing in those fans to the RAC?
Yeah, I think we've always drawn relatively well. We've marketed a lot, especially early. When I first took over 5 years ago, we really put a lot of emphasis into marketing our games, doing sort of promotional type things to be able to get people out here. Now it's starting to take care of itself a little bit more. People know about us. We're on their radar. it could still be filled. It's a small gym. We still have open seats. So by all means, we'll take more fans when we can get them. But I think it's starting to build traction. It's always tough being in the shadow of University of Wyoming over the hill. They get a lot of coverage and those kinds of things. And sometimes we're overshadowed by that. But for us, we're just worried about doing our job, continuing to make a name for our program. If we continue to do that, do things the right way, and continue to just move up the ladder and have success, we know that people will start to jump on board, and sooner or later, they can't ignore us forever. So it'll be one of those things where we just, one of our motto this year as a team was build it bigger, and we talked about doing that in every sense, whether that's academically, in terms of our performance and getting back to the national tournament and finishing higher, and just the way we go about doing everything, building a bigger and better reputation for the college and for LCCC volleyball and LCCC athletics. And our group did an awesome job of getting that done this year, and that was really exciting. So for us, we change mottos every year, but the concept of building it bigger and leaving it better than you found it and continuing to evolve our program into something that the community and the people in Cheyenne can be proud of is always at the top of our to-do list.
Coach, your takeaway from all of this, and again, the young ladies, they get excited to go and be a part of this national program. You're the head coach. I mean, the excitement still has to give you that rush a little bit too as you step onto the floor and get ready for your first match when you're under the national spotlight. Yeah, definitely. Getting back out there, and especially going in the 15 seed. 16 teams make the national tournament. We were second to last out of the group, which, we had our struggles early, but with how we went in, we felt like we were probably a little bit overlooked. But sometimes you got to play the underdog card and just roll with what you got, trust the process, and know the things that you did well to get there. We tried not to deviate from that much. We talked to our team about just staying consistent and all the things that got us here. We're just going to try to improve those and be really solid in those facets as we go into the national tournament. From a coaching standpoint, I really like it. Honestly, the games that make me feel sick to my stomach and are painful for me to coach are the ones where it's, you're supposed to beat everybody. You're supposed to beat this team. You're supposed to beat this team, because there's that pressure of if you lose, you probably screwed something up. Right. Going to the national tournament, and especially going in a 15, when you're playing, any team can beat any team. Everybody's talented. It allows you to just kind of relax, get loose, and coach and have some fun with it. And I think when I do that, I'm able to coach my team better, serve my team better. And it was just a really fun atmosphere, especially, we come out, we lay an egg the first game. We were really, really not good. But the opportunity to be able to still play back through and do something with the rest of the week was fun, because at that point there's not pressure. We can't win a national title. Let's just go back and finish the best that we can possibly finish, which was 9th, and we were able to get that done because I think our team just settled in and said, hey, to heck with it. I mean, our national title hopes are done, but let's play for each other and play to do something that we can remember and be proud of while we're here, and they definitely did that. The group that you had in play, the freshmen that were sophomores this year, and you saw the hunger in their eyes. They wanted to get back. They liked what they did last year, and they wanted to repeat and do even better. How do you portray that message now to this group of freshmen who will be sophomores next year? And then the second part of it's unfortunate, too, that you're not a 4-year school. You're a 2-year school, and, you have to say goodbye to this great group of sophomores. Yeah, I think for us it now becomes about leaving your legacy. There's no doubt that this sophomore group that's graduating and moving on is going to be, one, hard to replace, but what they've accomplished is going to be hard to duplicate. Now, we've got a ton of talent in our freshman class. I really, really like our incoming recruiting class. I think we've got some pieces that are going to fill those holes nicely, and I'm sure we'll have our freshman moments early. But in terms of getting our freshmen to understand and buy in, the biggest challenge when success becomes repeated is getting them to understand that it's not guaranteed. They came into this program that looked like that. And with this year's sophomore, same thing. They came in and all of a sudden they won and they're at the national tournament. And getting them to
our big thing was getting them to understand that that's not given. This hasn't ever happened before at LCCC. In 2017 was our first time ever getting there. And so getting them to understand that this isn't just a thing that happens all the time. This is something that we've really had to work for and build this thing the right way. And I think if you can stay focused on the small pieces of the process like that and not allow them to become entitled and, hey, if we just show up, we'll get back there, that's probably the biggest battle, especially with these youngsters, freshmen and sophomores, that, everything seems to be a little bit more immediate gratification based. For us, it has to be about how do we leave a legacy and make sure that we aren't the team that took a step backwards. How do we continue to build it forward and build it bigger? And the only way to do that is by sacrificing, dedicating time, making sure we're putting in the work, and really just not deviating from the process that got us here. I mean, it was slow. I mean, it took 4 years to get to the national tournament. This 5th year again was special, but we can't become too winning focused or national tournament focused if that's what we want to accomplish.
Complacency is not
so allowed. I like that. It's that infectious kind of catchphrase that's getting across where we've heard from head coach Neil Breen of the Cheyenne Stampede. It's trusting the process, and it all works out in the end. And again, it certainly has for LCCC volleyball. At least before we head into break, at least final question for me, for you, Coach. Players that did get, at least again, a few of your athletes did get spotlighted, whether it was around the region or again in the national tournament. But just kind of at least tell folks for the community of Cheyenne, give them a little recognition of who kind of got spotlighted on your team this season.
Oh, we had a lot. On our all-region team, Avery Nelson led the way. She was actually the unanimous first-place finisher on the all-region team, earned Player of the Year honors, which was awesome for her. She was the Freshman of the Year and just a couple votes out of Player of the Year last year to one of our sophomores. So for her to come back and get that with all coaches jumping on board was pretty awesome. Jazzy Espinoza actually finished second in voting and was voted the conference or region Freshman of the Year. And then Kylie Martin finished third, so we had the top 3 finishers in voting. And then Cassandra Sturgis was in the top 8 and garnered Setter of the Year honors. This is our second straight year earning Setter of the Year in region. And then Peyton Stack finished in 7th place in voting and was an all-region kid as well. Then all-conference, which we have an all-conference team, which is a little bit different. Avery Nelson, Jazzy Espinoza, Peyton Stack were all first team. Kyle Meltzer, our libero, was second team, and Lizzie Clark was honorable mention. All tournament team was Kyle Meltzer, Kylie Martin, and Lizzie Clark. And then at the national tournament, Avery Nelson was named to the national tournament all tournament team, which was pretty cool. It went players from the 1 seed, the 1 finisher, the 2 finisher, the 3 finisher, 4 finisher, 1 on the 5, and then it jumped to 9. So that was pretty cool to see, because normally they don't stray out of the top 5 or 6. So for her to be able to get recognized with that speaks for what she did at the tournament. She was an animal and definitely deserved that award.
Well, Coach, we want to congratulate you on a 32-9 season, 9th place national finish, and again, that's going to be a gorgeous banner.
Yep.
That's going to be hanging inside the rack, and we're looking forward to seeing that unveiling. Congratulations again. Thank you for joining us on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to former Cheyenne's product, Jazzy Espinoza, after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
Nestled on the outskirts of Cheyenne, you'll find a relaxing environment that truly captures Cheyenne's culture and is just minutes away from the heart of downtown. We include a complimentary hot American breakfast daily, as well as an all-day coffee bar and the most hospitable staff in the West. You're certain to stay at the best home away from home and be welcomed with a warm Otis Spunkmeyer cookie. Whatever your pleasure, we're here to make your stay absolutely perfect. Make sure you're staying at the Best Western Plus Frontier Inn, located off I-80, exit 367.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy, we'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. or call 635-3712.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480KRAE.com.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We have Cheyenne East Product joining us, who in her freshman year really made a big impact on the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles. Matter of fact, we mentioned last night too, as we had another Cheyenne East product,
former teammate of hers,
Mackenzie Fagenbush, playing at Trinidad State. So again, a couple of Cheyenne East products making their mark right now, whether it's basketball or volleyball. But we're talking to Jazzy Espinoza, who did basketball as well too over at Cheyenne East. But tell us a little bit about the volleyball experience in your first season at LCCC.
Oh, I've had a lot of fun. It's a little bit different. It's a different transition from high school to college, obviously. Club helped me a little bit with that transition, but it's been a lot of fun meeting new people, creating friendships that are going to last for, like, ever. Just having good teammates, having fun.
The thing is, too, about, as you mentioned, club, and you did some traveling, of course, with Cheyenne East. The mark is to get to the state championship, but here you end up in Hutchinson, Kansas, under the big lights of the national stage. Being a freshman, it's a little breathtaking at times, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little intimidating when you're traveling there. You're a little nervous. You don't really know what to expect. It's a little scary, but you just have to overcome that and play for your teammates and just try and, yeah.
Well, again, as we kind of alluded to, at least you mentioned beforehand, again, with Jazzy, multi-sport athlete in high school, again, playing for volleyball and basketball, were, again, successful for both for Cheyenne East. But what was kind of the ultimate decision factor for you to join LCCC, at least volleyball, instead of joining Brian Ortmeyer's crew on the basketball side?
I think it's just the sport as a whole. For my whole life, I've just been, like, more of a basketball person. And then I just decided one day, like, I think I like volleyball more. Box at East just kind of, like, made me love the sport even more than I did. And then I joined Club for Norco, which is just like, it's just like all the time volleyball. So it just made me like the sport, want to play it more than just high school. So,
as Coach Albers was mentioning, all of the awards that were given out to all of the young ladies on LCCC this year, and of course your name was mentioned there. You have to feel, and I don't want to use the word special, but it's sometimes you got to pinch yourself, because it's like, is this a dream? But I mean, in your first year, a lot of good things happened to you.
Yeah, I was really surprised when all the awards came out to see that I got Freshman of the Year or whatever, but it's just like, it's like nice to know that, like, all the hard work that I put in high school and in college and in club has paid off, and people are, like, noticing me. So.
Now, you're in your freshman year at LCCC. Let's talk about, and I know Nick always likes to ask the question, so I'll beat him to it. What are you majoring in?
Right now I'm majoring in education. I'm not really sure if I'm going to stick with that, but that's what I'm majoring in for right now.
And obviously, being at LCCC, only have at least one more year left there of being a part of the Golden Eagle squad. But kind of give us a future, at least, idea of what you're looking at. Are you looking to continue your volleyball career at a Division I? Are you looking to kind of keep in this area, the Rocky Mountain region, whether it is Laramie down at Fort Collins? I mean, what's kind of your outlook for the next kind of few years?
Not totally sure yet. For sure going to finish out my second year at LCCC. Just kind of see what coaches contact me first and go from there. Not too sure on what I'm going to do. Just kind of going with the flow right now, seeing what happens, see what coaches contact me first, and then we'll go from there, I guess.
You know, we were driving home last night, and we drove through Colorado Springs, and I saw all the Olympic venues at the training facilities, and it made me think, just as you came in, Summer Olympics, is that something that I know it's you have to be 1 in a million to make that squad, but is that something you would ever set your sights on?
I think that would be like such an awesome experience. I don't know if I'm cut out for it, but if it comes to it, I would definitely take that opportunity. Not saying that's like my number one goal in life, but if it comes to it, I would definitely take that opportunity and go play. So you had a great freshman year again, playing with the squad. Now heading into, obviously, you got some time to think over things and enjoy after the national tournament, but I mean, heading into your sophomore season with this squad again, as you're going to lose a lot of teammates, again, a lot of graduations and transfers as well, too, out of LCCC. But for you as a player, as an individual, what are kind of some tweaks, some goals that you have for next season being a part of this team, whether it is being Region 9 Player of the Year or something like that? I mean, what are some alterations you like to focus on for next season? I think the biggest thing is that the freshman class this year, we need to step up and fill in the positions that are being graduated. We need to have leaders. We need to keep since there's going to be such a big freshman class underneath us, we need to make sure they know like the steps that we need to take, go to class, stuff like that. I think the ultimate goal is just to win the region and maybe try and go to nationals again, get another shot at that first game. Just try and fill in what we're missing.
Well, it's interesting, too, because, where you only have freshmen and sophomores, it's not that big of an age difference as opposed to being a freshman and matching up with seniors in high school. But talk about that sophomore class as Jazzy Espinoza was recruited by Austin Albers to come play at LCCC. She steps onto the floor with this good group of sophomores. Tell us a little bit how they took you under their wing. They basically just led me in the right direction. I knew Peyton Stack, I knew Kyle Meltzer, I knew some of them already. So that connection was already there. It wasn't too hard to transition. It was just different teammates, different setters, different people you're playing with. So just walking into the gym, getting on the court, it wasn't too hard, but they just emphasized the communication part of the game. They emphasized the team bonding part of the game, stuff like that. It wasn't. I know the season is over, and it was a long season, and you played many contests throughout the course of the year. Now you have that time, like Nick mentioned, time off, and of course Coach Albers now will get that opportunity to put next year's team together, and then you start getting after it again. But are you glad that it's over for a short time so you can just kind of focus on studies? I wouldn't say I'm glad, but it's just nice to have a little bit of time off to let your body recover. But we are going to start spring again in February, so it's just nice to be able to focus on your school, get your grades up since we missed so much school due to nationals, regionals, all the games. So it'll be nice to just get caught up, get our grades up, and then just focus on ourselves and stuff like that. So. All righty. Well, Jazzy, we want to thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on a wonderful freshman season, and looking forward to hopefully having you back in this chair after you complete your sophomore year, and maybe another national banner flying in the rack after it's all said and done. Thank you so much. Jazzy Espinoza from the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles volleyball team joining us here in 1480 KRAE. Going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We got more Wyoming Sports Talk today after these words.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Van High Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Community banking for you.
The next time you have a craving for authentic Mexican cuisine, visit Hacienda Guadalajara at 317 East Lincoln Way. Locally owned and operated, they serve their dishes with family tried and true recipes with the freshest of ingredients, made to order. Start off your meal with their complimentary chips, salsa, and bean dip. And if you're feeling adventurous, enjoy your favorite margarita or cerveza. Hacienda Guadalajara, where the spice is always nice.
Style and value come out strong on the newly redesigned 2019 Kia Forte. AJ Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne, and the Kia Forte has new performance improvements and technology innovations that rival the competition, and Forte is priced less. Right now, during our Light Up the Holiday sales event, you could save even more on the new 2019 Kia Forte. Compare Forte to Cruze, Corolla, or Jetta and see that the Kia Forte offers you even more for less money. Come by or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
Feeling that cool Wyoming breeze in the early morning? That means fall is here, and our Wyoming winter is close behind. So now's the time to make sure your furnace is in good repair. And Marv's Plumbing Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue is the place to go. Marv's trained technicians can inspect, repair, and replace your furnace and boiler and are available 24/7. Freezing temperatures in Wyoming can happen at any time. No one wants to shiver in their own home. Don't get the chills. Stay cozy. Call Marv's Plumbing and Heating at 316-7634 today.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 58. If it's tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 26. For Thanksgiving Day, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 57. And on Thursday night, it'll be cloudy with lows around 30.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on the show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
As far as the in-game injuries, we had two. Roby is currently in the protocol for concussion, and Deshaun Hamilton looks pretty good this morning, so we're lucky there. So we'll see about Roby as the week progresses. Obviously, his health is the most important thing, so we'll see how the week goes. Questions?
Coach, on the two-point conversion, whether to ask for a review or not, who exactly are you talking to upstairs that lets you know whether to throw the red flag, and what replay are they looking at? Because just sitting home on TV, it seems so obvious.
Well, I'm talking to our staff in the press box. You know, obviously I can't see the replays, but you know, I mean, those guys give me the evidence to challenge. You know, so if it's not clear, they tell me, Coach, it's not clear. We can't tell. So obviously. The rules are if it's a scoring play, right? It goes to the league if it's a positive play. So, I would prefer if the officials are not sure if it's a positive or negative play, just call on the positive side because it's a built-in fix for him. Okay, so once he calls it a score, it's reviewed. Okay, it's reviewed. So if it's not a score, okay, I have to obviously challenge it. So if my views are not clear enough to challenge it, I can't because it's 12 minutes in that game. If I lose that challenge, it costs me something. So in my opinion, it was more important to keep our time out there without having clear evidence. Now, if it was clear, absolutely we challenged that, but it wasn't clear to our guys upstairs.
Are they looking at TV broadcast, or are there other?
I'm not sure what they're seeing upstairs. Okay, if it's different from the TV at home or what we're seeing in our box, I'm not sure what they're seeing, but it wasn't clear to those guys that it was a scoring play. So it was gray. So that being said, on the field it was called as a play that didn't score. So if my guys tell me it's gray, how could they overturn it? So that's my thought process.
It's hard to understand why a two-point conversion is not automatically considered a scoring play.
Yeah, that's not my deal. So I couldn't risk the timeout without clear evidence from our guys upstairs if it was a score or not. Okay, case was told by the official, you guys should challenge this because it's fairly close. I would prefer those guys to call it a score, so if it's looked at, right, we can get it right without risking something from me, right? Because he has no risk. He has no risk. It's built in to get it right. So if it's close, they should call it a score so we can look at it. Without anybody losing anything, we just simply get it right. But for me to get it right, it's consequences. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It was hard just to understand, just being a TV viewer, because everybody on TV would be saying the same thing, and you may have looked back at it.
And I watched it this morning on a coach's copy, and I'm telling you, it can go either way, in my opinion. It wasn't clear. If it was, he probably would have called it a score. So we consider today and go back and forth about what they saw, but he did not call it a score. So I wasn't going to risk a timeout with 12 minutes to go. In the games we've been playing in, I couldn't risk that. So we didn't do it.
Coach, what was the thought process to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of kick the field goal?
Trying to win a game. We had, I think, 3 downs to get 3 yards. Trying to win a game. As simply as that. And I'll do it again. I told our guys that 4th and 1, we're going to go for it.
Also send a message, too, that you're trying to convey at this point in the season, like we're going to be aggressive.
Yeah, it could be week 1, Troy. We got them backed up. Okay, it's early in the game. We just picked off a ball. I want to get points there. We got 3 downs to get 3 yards. Let's go, trying to win.
What do you think of Phillips' vision on the touchdown, the second one where he came out of Wildcat?
I thought it was great. He had great feel in that play. That play's tough on defenses because you can't account for the runner who's actually the quarterback at that point. So it's a tough play to defend, and he found an open space.
Watching the guys on the sideline celebrating that win, can a win like that really change the psyche of the team?
I think it changes guys. It changes the week, obviously. When you win in this league, man, you have great weeks. When you lose, you have horrible weeks. So I think the work that we've put in and the games that we've played, it's been close. It's been field goal games, So to win one, obviously, assure guys that the hard work is not being rewarded. So it's good for our football team to win one.
Kansas had a lot of good no-huddle sequences at the end of games this year. Why do you think he's so effective in that situation?
I think he likes it. He likes the challenge, of bringing our team back. I think the looks are cleaner, from a defensive perspective. But he's always been that way from college to, his NFL career. He's been a gamer. He's played his best football in the critical moments. So, our team expects that from Case, and he's been good at it.
Is there a lot of discussion, maybe sprinkle that in throughout the game?
It's different. It's so different for defenses when you're playing just normal football, right? You get more looks. So when you're in a 2-minute offense and you're going fast, the looks become a little clearer because, obviously you're going fast and they're in a 2-minute mode. So you get more 4-man rush, more, single high, more shell. It's really clean looks. So that's why you see offenses drive the ball quicker, usually in 2 minutes, because defensively it's really a simpler, a cleaner look for the offense.
Why did you have River return the punt instead of Pac-Man on that last punt?
River? He's really sure-handed. As simple as that. He was a sure-handed guy, and with our great team, when it's backed up like that, we put River in or whoever else is our more sure-handed returner, and he's
Pac-Man in that particular situation.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it was the best call for our team. He's really sure-handed.
The line didn't give up a sack, but I also didn't have any holding penalties or false starts. So what was the difference there, especially with all the injuries?
I'll tell you what. After watching the game, I thought Bosey played one of his best games from a technique perspective. To block those 2 rushers with no penalties is quite an accomplishment for him. But entire line, no sacks all day with those rushers was impressive. And they have 3 new starters inside. But our 2 guards are, guys who play tackle. So for those guys to go inside and play guard and block those interior guys, it's really an easier job to block the interior guys versus blocking those speed tackles. So I think they're very comfortable playing guard, especially in pass pro.
I know you took like a us against the world mentality into that game. Everyone, talking about us being backups, out of position, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we have great pride, throughout our whole team. And obviously playing a team like that has won so many games straight, and it's a divisional opponent, and no one picked us to win that game. So I think the entire team felt that way, not just the O-line.
Do you think Todd and Jazzy played?
Well, they played well. Our issues on defense was not on first, second down, stopping a run, or even in the pass game. It's really third downs, and that team came in averaging 7.6 yards a clip on first downs, and we kind of squashed that. Hitting the run game and hitting the pass game also. Their average third downs were 3rd and 8+, and all of their big plays came through their third downs, which is rare for our football teams. They came in ranked 25th in third downs, and we were top 10. So that that was embarrassing how we played third downs. Honestly, it was embarrassing.
And as tough a test as Josie's going to have in this league.
You mean one-on-one? Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, he's a special back. So to get him down in space one-on-one is a tough task for any backer in this league. You know, so I mean, he had a couple of times where he was matched up on 28 and 30 in space and lost some of those battles. But that's tough on any backer. What were the
breakdowns on third down?
I think you know, some execution, some calls. You know, it's all of us. You know, so we got to fix that, because I mean, you can't be that bad on third downs versus a team like that when you force this team to be in third and longs like that, and to give up 9 for 15, that's not good enough for us.
You know, didn't seem like he was struggling for much of the game, and then flipped the switch. What happened where he was able to flip the switch?
I don't think he was struggling, Mike. I wouldn't say he was struggling. I would say, you know, we had some good plays called. We missed some good plays. We had some drops. We had some high throws. The run game was consistent. But, again, you know, once your third down gets past 4 or 5, you got to throw the football. You know, we didn't convert third downs on either side of the ball, so the time of possession was really flipped. You know, so I didn't think he played bad early. His opportunities were limited, and, you know, he made plays when we had to make plays.
It was going to be a kind of a tall task to replace Matt. How do you think Connor did?
He did a fine job. Again, I mean, they're two different players. You know, Matt's a very, very, very smart guy. He's a bigger guy. He's a stouter guy. And Connor's kind of an athlete playing center. So we can do certain things with Connor we couldn't do with Matt. So I think it's a give and take there. But he did a fine job blocking this guy in pass pro. He can pull for us, you know, which is different from what Matt can do for us. So he did a good job. You know, we have to coach differently with him being the center. But I think it's going to work for us.
With the sack and interception yesterday, big plays throughout the year. Being around him for a year and a half, what did you come to respect about the way he goes about his work?
He likes to play. You know, Von's a great leader, guys, and that's probably not seen a lot from Von. You know, outside of our locker room, he's a great leader. His teammates love him. He loves to play on game day. You know, and I mean, he's a guy that every week that's being doubled and being chipped, and he continues to grind and make plays for us. And he's made some big ones for us this year, and he'll make more.
How much do big punts depend upon the skill set of the punter versus something you see scheme-wise?
I think it's both. You know, the punter, if you can't throw the football, you can't run too many fakes. You know, and obviously the look you get, you know, during the game, but you got to have some fail-safes in there also. If it's a certain look, you get out of it and you just punt the ball. But Kobe did a great job just throwing the ball all week, so I felt confident in his ability to hit the little flat pass to Jano. But great design by Coach, and obviously Kobe and Jano did a good job finishing it.
Will Max go to IR this week, and is the plan to bring in somebody from the outside?
Yeah, he's going to IR. We're going to bring in 5 guys tomorrow and have a workout and see who's the best fit for our football team.
What do you think when Rivers threw the ball into the ground?
What I think? I was happy. Yeah. I was really happy and excited. You know, we gave him that look before, and he kept checking to quick screens. You know, so we bluffed the look and gave him a pressure look and bailed out and played some zone. And he spiked the ball. So it was a good call by Joe, and the players executed it, and it worked out for us. But I was excited to see him spike the ball.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy your day.
No way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, a busy first hour, just about ready to wrap up. We follow that up with a busy second hour. Seems like our whole week, Nickster, has been a busy week, but I want to make sure we get this out first and foremost to everybody. We won't be here tomorrow, and we won't be here Friday, but we want to say from our family, Pro Eddies, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thank you for joining us always on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Thank you for the basketball and football hits. Watching our games, and whether you like them or not.
Oh, get over yourself. Well, you complain about one little dislike on a YouTube. Who cares?
Anyway,
who cares?
I want to mention real quick about last night's game. men had a tough night, really tough night, and this is a team that's going to have to grow.
What killed them is something that's killing them throughout this entire
free throw shooting.
And again, something that Coach Fick has discussed with us on post-game, pre-game, even here on the LCCC Coaches Show. Again, it's something that is plaguing this team and is kind of becoming the deciding factor in a lot of these games, a lot of these blowouts. I think this game should have been a lot closer, at least than the final score kind of indicated. But Trinidad State as well too on the men's side. Yeah, you got to respect. They're 7-1. They're a good outfit. They're in Region 9 South.
Well, and the thing you saw too last night, both the men and women very aggressive.
Oh yeah,
and we the Golden Eagles and as well as Lady Golden Eagles need to step it up a little bit. Because you know what? You're going to get bounced around. You're going to get pushed around if you don't set up that perimeter underneath.
I think more so on the men, they were a little hesitant to go on the inside. Whether, again, Courtney Dean tried to make the best of it last night, or at least in the afternoon against Trinidad State. But I think for the women, though, they were not afraid, especially with the undersized Carly O'Brien. Again, a few others who were not afraid to dish on the inside. Kylie Milan, as you're big on the inside, she was not afraid to fight her way in there. Again, I think the women, that's not really an issue. They're not afraid to get bumped around a few times and try to draw the fouls by laying it up on the inside. So, again, moving to at least the ladies' game is you have to cough over there for whatever reason.
Something got in my throat again.
Yeah, whatever.
In this building.
Complain. Anyway, so for the women on that contest, again, what can you say? Questionable fouls. Again, on the replay with the intentional with Mackenzie Fagerbush, again, as high up top where you can fairly see that it was not an intentional foul of what was called.
I don't even think it was a foul. And again, the official away, I mean, he's trailing
pretty far away, and you can see him in the angle of the camera.
Now, I will say this now that we are away from Trinidad.
Yeah.
But that was a Homer crew out there last night. And if you don't believe it, then you watch our broadcast last night.
Yeah, again, the foul discrepancy throughout that contest was really out of hand. And, again, very questionable calls. Again, even talk about Carly O'Brien where she got banged around a few times under the bucket.
That one Gilmore kid knocked her on the ground.
Yeah, and
it was climbing over people's backs.
Yeah, no foul call on Carly O'Brien getting on the inside. And then also, too, the questionable and something I had to point out to you as you were focusing was Coach Ortmeyer on the bench getting a warning for whatever reason with about a minute left in the contest where at least Trinidad State, it looked like it was going to wrap things up. But that women's contest, yeah, a little bit questionable. Again, the foul calls and just how it was played, it should have gone LCCC's way, but they were fighting a little bit more than the Lady Trojans of Trinidad State.
Well, one of the most atrocious calls, and again, I know I'll probably say that again later on throughout the course of the season, but that was one of the worst calls I've ever seen.
The funny thing is we have video evidence.
And we got video evidence to back it up. And again, we try to be, obviously we're there calling the game for LCCC.
Yeah, that even the LCCC flag.
You definitely you're going to hear us be homers for the Golden Eagles and Lady Golden Eagles.
But we're not calling the game, though. We're not reffing the contest.
But when you have a blatant miscarriage of justice by this one goober who should not be, right there I take away the whistle from him. Never, ever again be on the floor. If you're going to make calls like that, if you are going to step on the floor and call it only one way, I'm going to walk my team off the floor. And evidently there was two officials last night. One was the lady official as well as the gray-haired gentleman. Brian Ortmeyer, I salute you, pal. How you didn't get teed up last night, because I remember I said in my comments, I said, I'm glad I'm not a coach.
Well, like I said, he got the one warning there at the tail end for whatever reason, but again, there were a few moments where he needed, at least he had a question on a few. I wouldn't even say a few, but a lot of calls.
He was there by himself last night, so he could not get bounced out.
Assistant coach Danielle was not able to at least join him as she was busy with at least other projects. So again, it was just him kind of controlling that bench last night. But
again, when you watch the video, and I hope you do, I hope you watch the ladies contest. Very good game. You're going to see some big things out of the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles throughout the course of the year. But I'll tell you what, watching that video, you'll see out of the three officials that were on the floor last night, you can see that two are very blatant Homer officials, and shame on them.
Yeah.
And they should have their whistles taken away from them. All right, we need to take a timeout. When we come back, hour number 2, we will have our coaches show coming up, the Cheyenne Stampede coaches show.
Yeah.
Neil Breen and player.
We'll learn about the player.
Okay, and then we also will have here in the opening part of our hour will be Coach Craig Bull's press conference as they gear up for New Mexico, of course, losing their starting quarterback, who now officially will slap on that redshirt freshman.
Well, they didn't lose their starting quarterback. He's now back in after losing the job. Tyler Vanderwall, again, he was the starter.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about
Sean Chambers.
Yeah, who got the knee injury, but now he will officially slap on that red shirt. Anyway, he'll talk about all of that stuff and the New Mexico Lobos coming up here next hour right here on 1480 KRAE.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
As we mentioned, busy hour, so let's get to our fine sponsors. We want to thank Taco John's of Cheyenne, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, directly across from Menards, Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, Platte Valley Bank. Eastsiders, check them out right there at the corner of College of Pershing, original location over on Vanderheim. Medicap Pharmacy, Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body ×2, the Auto and Truck Repair Center over on Dunn Avenue, and the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. My good friend Joe Mondello and the great folks, Caesar and everybody over there at Mondello's Pizzeria. Mars Plumbing Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. We always get our program underway with our scoreboard, which is being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. From all of our Wyoming Sports Talk Today sponsors, we all wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Nick, what's on the schedule?
What's on the schedule? How about what happened last night with LCCC, as we kind of mentioned there? But we'll start with the men's side on basketball at Trinidad State taking on the Trojans. It was a losing contest as LCCC did fall 87-68. So for LCCC men, they moved to 3-4 overall. For the women, it was a losing effort as well too, as they fall to Trinidad State 70-65 for LCCC. The women, they moved to 4-3 overall. Speaking of LCCC women, we will travel with them coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday, as it will be the McCook Classic happening out in McCook, Nebraska. Friday's contest at 4 o'clock tip-off time. It will be LCCC taking on Northwest Kansas Technical College, and then on Saturday's noon tip-off contest, it will be LCCC women taking on the CSU club team, ? CSU club team that did not show up last year for the McCook Classic, so we'll see kind of a tentative schedule, tentative team possibly on that Saturday's game. But again, 4 o'clock and noon, Friday and Saturday. Again, all games happening here on 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, and video live streaming as always on Periscope and the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. NHL action for tonight. It's going to be a lengthy one, as you will see the New Jersey Devils hosting the Montreal Canadiens. The Battle of New York between the Islanders and Rangers happening at Madison Square Garden. Pittsburgh Penguins hosting the Dallas Stars at PPG Paints Arena. Washington Capitals at home hosting the Chicago Blackhawks. Toronto Maple Leafs traveling to Carolina to take on the Hurricanes. Buffalo Sabres at KeyBank Center taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Red Wings of Detroit hosting the Boston Bruins. Florida Panthers in Tampa taking on the Lightning. Nashville Predators at home at Bridgestone hosting the St. Louis Blues. Ottawa Sins traveling to Minnesota to take on the Wild at XL Energy Center. Arizona Coyotes hosting the Battle of the Desert teams, as Vegas Golden Knights coming into Phoenix to take on the Coyotes. Calgary Flames hosting the Winnipeg Jets. Sorry, again, I saw you and I just kind of...
blame that one on me. Go ahead.
Anaheim Ducks at the Pond at Honda Center hosting the Vancouver Canucks, and Colorado Avalanche, the Avs in L.A. taking on the Kings at Staples Center. That's what's happening. NHL action for tonight.
Face it, you're bad as the refs as they were last night in Trinidad. All right, at halftime,
I'm just saying,
at the Maui Invitational.
Something came up after looking at you.
Don't interrupt me. Maui Invitational right now, halftime. Gonzaga leading the Dukies. Right now it's 47-39. So it is the Zags over the Blue Devils, 47-39. That is at the intermission. To the National Football League, we look at the schedule for tomorrow, Turkey Day. It will be the Bears and the Lions at Ford Field. Game 2, Washington and Dallas at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. And the Thursday night football matchup will have Atlanta and New Orleans. Well, I see NBC, and I always think it's Sunday night. Anyway, Atlanta and New Orleans at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. That's going to be a good one tomorrow night. I would expect a lot of offense in that particular contest. Now we go to the NBA scoreboard. Here's what's going on the schedule. Pacers at the Hornets. Pelicans at the 76ers. The Raptors will take on the Hawks. Knicks and the Celtics in the TD Garden. Lakers and the Cavaliers in Cleveland.
Yawn.
Yeah, what's so exciting about that one? LeBron James is coming home. It will be the Suns and the Bulls, Pistons at the Rockets, Trailblazers at the Bucks, Nuggets trying to get back on the winning track in the Target Center against the Timberwolves, Nets and the Mavericks tonight in Big D, Grizz Spurs at the AT&T Center, Sacramento Kings, they will take on the Jazz in Salt Lake City, Thunder and the Warriors definitely need to get back on the winning track after losing 4 straight. Warriors hosting OKC. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne, and coming up, we will hear from UW head coach Craig Bohl.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I'd like to state it's great to be playing meaningful games in November. Old wise football coach once told me they remember November, and we're in the heart of November and playing a meaningful football game this week. It was great. A little bit of recap on last week's game. It's a tremendous victory for our program. It's just because so many storylines and the long history that Wyoming has had with the Air Force Academy. It's gone back years and years and years with countless number of memorable games. I've been texted by many of our either fans or followers through the years, and that certainly was one of the more memorable Wyoming Air Force games. So it was an excellent win over a good program, a really good program, and we've got a great deal of respect for Air Force, and the games have been competitive. You know, it was great to see our football team deal with adversity and overcome adversity. I also think that there's a bedrock resolve within our football program to keep plugging along and winning and keep believing. And that bedrock belief, I think, is a credit to the men in that locker room and then also our assistant coaches, because you don't go through the type of season that we've had with some adversity and keep on moving forward. So we need to build on that. You know, going into this next game, Sean Chambers will not be with us. You know, we were hopeful at the beginning that it wouldn't be something that would be surgical, but it will be surgical. So his season's over. It was great to have him out there competing. He added a great deal of value to our football team. And the status of Nico, I would say, would be day by day. We'll find out a little bit more as we go, but it's going to be day by day with Nico. So Tyler Vanderwall really came in and played exceptionally well, and that's and he and I had an extended conversation in my office about his role as a backup player. You never know when your number is going to be called, and you have to be prepared. And he certainly was. So it was great to see him go out and make some plays, and he'll be the starter this next week. It was a typical Air Force game. It was a hard-fought, physical game. You know, we got a lot of guys that are going to be able to play against New Mexico, but I think that we're probably certainly more banged up or sore than what we normally have had after games. The other thing was it was win number 5, and that means a lot to our program, and so it certainly was a rewarding win for us, not only with beating a front-range opponent, but playing in the snow. That was a classic type of game that people that will always remember, and I certainly will as a Cowboys football coach. On to New Mexico, big challenge. You know, I've known Bob Davie for many years when he was a defensive coordinator at Texas A&M, and a great deal of respect for Coach Davie. He's operated well as a head football coach. Coached against him when he was at Notre Dame and then at New Mexico, and their teams are always well prepared. Coach Cosgrove is an excellent defensive coordinator as well. He and I both served at different times as defensive coordinator at the University of Nebraska, and their defense always plays well against us. They're aggressive. And so we've got a great deal of respect for New Mexico. Going to Albuquerque will be a big challenge. It'll be another opportunity for our football team to play. A little bit about New Mexico. First of all, I'd say they're very explosive on offense. They've got excellent skill players. Their offensive sets lend themselves to explosive plays, and they have the skill players to do it. They are rotating quarterbacks right now, and that poses a challenge in itself. But there's a lot of big plays that occur out there. They've got a big athletic offensive line that, you know, always seems to be on point. They operate out of a 3-4 defense, which, you know, through the years has given us problems. They're a attacking, stinging type defense, and it's going to require us to come up with big plays. For us to put points on the board, we're going to need to have some big plays. Their special teams, they've got the #1 punt return unit in the country, spearheaded by Marcus Hayes. He's a great punt returner. He's averaging close to 19 yards a return, so they can flip the field over. So, you know, their record, I don't think, is any way close to the indication of the type of football team. They have been hot and cold. We're going to assume that they're going to play really hot against us. They always seem to, and so we'll need to be prepared as we get on the plane to go down to Albuquerque on Friday. I had breakfast with a lot of our players today. There is an energized football team. Our guys are really excited. They are drained. It was a hard-fought game, but the attitude and the mentality of this team is really running at a high pace right now, which is encouraging because of all the ups and downs we've had this season. So at this time, I will open it up to any questions anybody may have out there. Yes, Robert.
So Sean, is ankle or leg, and just to follow up that with Tyler, obviously he's played football for you, so is it just move forward with him? Do things change dramatically, I guess, or how would you kind of approach that?
Well, first of all, the feedback that we gotten from the doctors was there's a break in part of Sean's leg. You know, I saw the highlight of the tape. He got bent over. That's part of football. And the encouraging thing is the outlook would be really encouraging for him to have a full recovery. The collateral damage off an injury like that, typically the guys come back at 100%. When I was in college, I broke both bones in my leg, and I got faster. The only difference was I wasn't very fast to start with. So Sean's in a little bit different case, but we anticipate he'll be back full speed. Concerning what we do offensively, you know, we'll continue to rework the playbook. There are certain things that Tyler does well that actually he was doing better than Sean, and I thought he showed those things in the game. And so we'll look at what he does well, what our offense is doing well right now. You know, we've gone from not hardly scoring any points to being somewhat productive now. I would say more than somewhat productive. And so we'll look and cull through our playbook what we do with our offensive players to try to score as many points as we can. Yes.
Follow up on Robert's question. On a personal note, on the sideline, watching Tyler Vanderwall go through those series, emotionally, how was that for you? Were you really excited?
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of anxiety?
Oh, you know, anytime you change quarterbacks, there's a certain amount of anxiety because there's a different tempo with each guy and how they lead. You know what? Tyler responded really well. And, you know, there was a reason why we made the change. We felt like we needed to spark the offense. And so when he walked out and threw that strike for a touchdown, I mean, he drilled the ball. And I think that play signified, hey, I'm here to play. I'm not going to go out and just try to manage this game. And so he took that, I think, that to another step forward, and he competed. I mean, he made plays that he had not made. You know, he made some against Wofford, but I mean, he made some exceptional plays. And so it was really encouraging. I also thought it was encouraging to see during the course of this, all the ups and downs, how Tyler had been supportive of Sean and then vice versa. And that also, I think that embodies what's going on in that locker room. I mean, that is kind of a microcosm of, you know, potential, quote, offense-defensive splits, which we've never had. You've got two quarterbacks that are vying for a starting spot. You don't have controversy. And those are the things that are allowing our football team to continue to win. Yes.
With Sean, do you know if there's any ligament damage or anything else other than just a break?
You know what? The information that I've been given is that it's a break. There's no ligament damage in there, but they are going to do surgery. And so anytime you do surgery, that's pretty serious. But I can't tell you, sometimes there can be deep ankle sprains that are very similar to a fracture. And so the word I got was he's going to be back. He'll be back at 100%.
Has surgery been scheduled?
I believe so, yes. Yes.
With Nico's situation, then, is it more of a sprain than having a break in there? Or something?
Yeah, that's a sprain, and we just don't know you know, sometimes guys can play with a sprained ankle, sometimes you can't. And so that's why I say it'll be day by day with Nico. Yes, Robert.
Well, with Tracy, I know Javon Bigelow also left the
Mhm.
game. His status, and if, you know, Valladay made some plays.
Yeah, X made some big-time plays. Particularly, he's got that knack on fourth down. And so we'll find out a little bit more on Javon. His injury is a little bit different than Nico's. You know, it was a rib injury, and the severity, everybody deals with that differently. You know, whether it's a bruise or break, we'll find out a little bit more on that. But we feel really good about X, and he made a nice run for a touchdown there. Yes.
Coach, it's a different system than Air Force, but does the framework help your defense in going back to back with these two opponents?
No. I would say it is. It's pretty significantly different, and it's significantly different than what they did last year. And they have a new offensive coordinator, and you know, you can see a different flavor in their offense, and so you know, there are some similarities, but to put them under the same umbrella, kind of like what we used to do, that's really not accurate. They're more of a spread offense that's going to throw the ball and stretch you downfield and move guys around. So it's a little bit different style of offense. Yes, Robert.
I know, obviously, you talk a lot about Andrew Wingert and
Mhm.
the tackles and everything, and granted, the tackles numbers are down, but that other guys are making plays in front of him, which I'm sure is a good thing. But no, but maybe the tackle numbers are down. Is in your mind, is he playing his best football?
I think he is. You know what? He's. You know, I thought he had a really good game Saturday night, and they had a plan for him, and kudos to Air Force. But yeah, he's playing well, and he's been a great leader, and he'll need to play well this Saturday.
Greg, following up on that a little bit. Obviously, it's been well documented that you guys were the only FBS school to give him a scholarship offer. What did you guys see when you recruited him that made you guys offer him and think that he could produce the way he's producing?
You know, some of it is his DNA, and you know, I'd like to think that we probably value that maybe a lot more than a lot of other programs do. You know, I had the pleasure to actually coach his father when I was a young freshman coach in Nebraska, so I knew the family, and saw his athleticism. He was a running back in high school. He's a high hurdler. A lot of people may not have projected him over on defense, but we felt like he could be a heck of a safety. And so we watched him, and we offered him, believed in him, and a lot of the other schools. I mean, he was evaluated by everybody in this region. and everybody in this region didn't feel like he was a Division I player. We were firmly convinced that he was. The other attribute about Andrew is his, his competitive nature. We also knew he was a risk taker. I think I made him hang up his skis. He was I don't know if you can, they're double black diamonds or whatever, wherever the most dangerous slopes that he was skiing. And I said, that's done. And his dad promised me it was done. That gave you an idea. He's going to do everything Mach 1, and he's going to live life to his fullest, and he plays football that way.
Did you ever think he would produce at this level? The way
when he was a freshman, I remember talking to Coach Mallory because he was kind of buried down in the depth chart, and I kept on telling, I said, hey, you need to look at this guy over here. He's got a real knack for the football. He can see things. What I did not anticipate was his tackling ability. I mean, he's got really good tackling ability, and he's really smart and instinctive. And so that's exceeded my expectation. We thought he'd be really good, but not to this degree. Yes, Tracy.
Like the process you took in recruiting him, does that kind of underlie your philosophy of what you need to do here to find players?
You know what? That's a great point or a question, and I'm going to answer it. When I first sat down with Tom Berman, we talked about what would make Wyoming special, and my assessment was this was a developmental program. When the Cowboys were really good, they had players who may not have been super heavily recruited. Sometimes they changed positions, but they were the guys that wanted to come in and be part of a team, and they needed to work to get better. And so that's been our philosophy from recruiting, and that has not changed. And so we've tried to place things in with our facilities and our coaching style to develop players. And Andrew's one of those guys. I think he was probably 172 pounds dripping wet, and when he stood sideways, you couldn't hardly see him. And then he grew long hair, and that probably put a couple more pounds on him. But that embodies what we're about, Andrew Wingert. And, Andrew Wingert has come to Wyoming, and for those seniors, the last time they ran out on War Memorial, that was a big deal for them. And we said all along that we were looking for more players that wanted to play for the University of Wyoming as opposed to at the University of Wyoming. And that may sound like a slight difference, but there's a big, big difference.
2 years ago when you got, I guess, on the trip on the plane ride to New Mexico, you guys found out you'd be playing the Mountain Championship game, and wasn't anything on the line. You guys didn't play well.
I played terrible.
Yeah.
Played terrible.
I guess with bull eligibility on the line, I guess you don't have to worry about lack of motivation.
When I met with the players this morning informally at breakfast, that's a chatter. Yeah. They all know 6 wins is a big deal. We can't control what's out there, but we can control our focus and preparation this week. And as I said, the opening statement that I made coming into this press conference, to be playing meaningful games in November at Wyoming, that's a lot. And we take that seriously, and it's not taken for granted. And so particularly this year, this year, if you look at, all the ups and downs and some of the challenges that were out there, and to be in this position where we're in our last week and this game means a lot, there's a lot of teams that I think would have spit the bit out and said the heck with it. And so we're excited about that. And you hit the nail on the head. I remember being on the plane and landing and finding out and walking into our dinner, and I addressed our football team and said, you know what, guys, we're going to be hosting the game. Or I knew we were maybe not hosting the game, but I knew that we were going to be in the game. It was almost like the air went out of the room. It was like, okay, we did our job. And New Mexico took us to the woodshed on national TV, and it was an embarrassment. And so we've got a great deal of respect for New Mexico. We know what they're well capable of. Yes.
You mentioned, obviously you got to take care of business and get to 6, and then it's out of your control. But do you get a sense that if you get there, that there will be a bowl game or there will be another game afterwards?
You know what? Those things, Robert, I can't. I sit on the competition committee, and we had long discussions about bowl games, and what's a team is deserving of a bowl game. And we really came through a hard line in the sand saying that the 5 and 7 teams, whether they're deserving or not, we need to at least have that as a backstop so bowls don't go dark. But we all felt that a 6 and 6 team was deserving. Now, how many bowls are out there and how the 6 and 6 teams are, or 7 teams and things like that, I haven't even done the math. I know we've been in there grinding on that tape. And I also know that I will say this, in my mind, the Mountain West Conference is a great football conference. And so I think it speaks well for us if we can position ourselves to come up with 6 wins. That certainly means a lot in our league. If you look at the teams that we played, there's a lot of teams that are in the top 25. And I think so our competition level has been excellent. So there won't be any campaigning on my part. I'm stating a fact. I also know this is we got a big challenge to play New Mexico.
Coming into this year, you talked a little bit about how much it means to play meaningful games, but to be in contention for your 3rd straight bowl appearance at a program where you took over in the state that it was in, what does that mean to you to have this program?
We're striving for consistency. I talked to Tom Berman about trying to get away from the major ups and downs, and that's easier said than done. This year's been a challenging year, but my sense is that our program is the players expect to win, and there's a belief that you just don't win by showing up. You got to put in a lot of hard work, and you got to believe in each other. There's a system that's in place. You need to play discipline, and I think some of the losses we had were as a result of not being as disciplined as what we should have been, but we've got back on track. And so, we're so focused right now on what we got to do to win this game. But as I said, to walk in this room at the tail end in November and saying, we got a lot on the line, I think that there's some seasoned media people in this room. I know you're new, but you stated a fact. There's a lot of years you came in here at the end of this year and it was check this box off, and walk out the door because there really wasn't much to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. Yes?
I know the weekly CJ Colgan update, is there any chance in this?
I got indication this morning from our trainer that it looked very doubtful. That may get overturned by the doctor. So I would say that's doubtful right now. That's one of those things that we talked about when you play, and when you play that non-conference schedule, I know retracing a lot of things. We talked about Washington State. Some people I don't think had any idea how good they were. They were a good football team, and then we walked into a buzzsaw. And we played Missouri the next week. He's still dealing from that big tight end hit. So I would say it'd be doubtful at best.
Boys, you showed some real fight. Like when Wachowski put that hit on our own mascot. Solid work, son. Okay, Friday was for football, but Tuesday is for tacos. Taco Tuesday at Taco John's. It's a sacred holiday where we eat tacos repeatedly until I get full.
Save big every Taco Tuesday with crispy beef tacos for just 99 cents.
Get some rest, boys, because come Taco Tuesday, we olay the day.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Did you know High West Energy has been serving residents of Laramie County for 75 years? Based in Pine Bluffs, High West Energy is an electric co-op proudly serving 10,000 customers in 3 states, including 20 subdivisions surrounding Cheyenne and F.E. Warren Air Force Base. We're owned by our customers who share in the profits and have a voice in ensuring that we maintain high standards while keeping electricity costs low. Keeping energy affordable for 75 years. HighWestEnergy.com.
A Touchstone Energy partner.
Christmas memories come alive when you shop at family-owned and operated Riverbend Nursery and Stone Company. Right now you can select your favorite Christmas tree from the enormous selection of fresh-cut trees, ranging from 3 to 9 feet, live container trees from 3 to 7 feet, and the grandest of all, the fresh-cut cathedral trees ranging from 10 to 13 feet. Shop for your Christmas tree today, indoors and out of the cold, at Riverbend Nursery and Stone Company. The sights and the sounds of the Christmas season are awaiting you today on North Yellowstone Road in Cheyenne. Remember, gift certificates are available too.
Shopping for the golfer on your Christmas list is really easy when you stop into the Airport Golf Shop or the Prairie View Golf Shop. Right now, enjoy savings up to 50% off on selected items throughout, and remember, gift certificates are always available. Or talk with Mike and his staff about golf repair or re-gripping the clubs for next season's play. From golf balls, apparel to golf clubs and more, do your holiday shopping for the golfer today at the Airport Golf Shop at 4801 Central Avenue or the Prairie View Golf Shop at 3601 Windmill Road in Cheyenne.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 58. For tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 26. For Thanksgiving Day, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 57. And on Thursday night, it'll be cloudy with lows around 30.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. It is our Wednesday gathering with our Cheyenne Stampede Coaches Show, and we bring in the head man.
A very happy, a very thankful.
Well, I'm surprised that you
Wednesday.
didn't. I'm surprised you didn't play the Meatloaf song. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
So times are a lot happier right now, Coach. And unfortunately, via media, us, and via fans, you're judged on wins and losses, but you knew they're going to come. They're going to take some time. You have to build. You basically had to tear it down and rebuild it.
Yeah.
And I guess the fruits of the labor had an opportunity to show itself this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we've been harping all along on our play below the dots, like below the tops of the circles, protecting pucks, getting as many shots on net as possible, and it was starting to show, 2 weeks before this last weekend, and we just didn't seem to be able to get it done, and with Steamboat, they don't quite have as much skill as Ogden and Utah do. So it gave our guys a chance to get a little space and continue to work on that. And it gave them also a little glimmer of, well, hey, this works. And, and it worked really well. I mean, we had our first 2 games were great contests. I mean, it showed that we definitely are the better team offensively. And I was really proud of our D-core, like in our D-zone. Like we did the things that we've been talking about on this show and in practice, we did those things, which was great.
It was essentially that players trusted the process, and guess what? It ended up in victories, at least this past weekend. So
absolutely.
I'm assuming, though, at least coming back home from Steamboat Springs again, being on the road this past weekend, but I'm assuming morale, everything, just talk about the feeling, though, of just being a part of that clubhouse, though, this weekend and coming back on the road to Cheyenne.
Well, it's great. I mean, we got to sing the win song twice, and, they do a little song. It has quite a few expletives on the bus before we blow the three honks for the 3 points that we got in the game. The guys were singing and laughing and dancing on the bus. Like it definitely, that kind of experience, brings the guys a little closer. And there are a lot of good things that happen in the game too that you don't necessarily, fans won't recognize as a contributor to the overall win factor, but we did a lot of shot blocking. We did a lot of physicality, a lot of sacrifice through and through by everybody on the team, and that kind of stuff really brings a team closer together as well.
One of those rarities that you had this weekend, even though you took 2 out of 3, all 3 games, you had 5 goals in each game. One of those you don't see too often, that you are pretty much the model of consistency offensively.
Yeah, we did we definitely did a good job of getting the puck on net and crashing the net like we talk about, and making sure that we're capitalizing on those opportunities more so than not. I mean, unfortunately, to be honest, like in all 3 games, like we had a lot more grade A chances than we did grade B's. You know, we like basically shots from inside the dots and below the top of the circles. We had a ton of grade A opportunities. A majority of our scoring opportunities were in the grade A zone. So, you know, that's a testament to our guys really working hard and listening to those coaching techniques and following through with it. So yeah, I mean we put up a lot of numbers on the weekend, which is great.
And also too, again, coming at least from previous weekend to this weekend, good to see that pieces were coming back, especially on that offensive side, including one Jeremy Velasquez, who again, looking at his stats, game number 1 coming away with 2 goals and 2 assists, but he was a top contributor this past weekend. But kind of going into my next question for you, Coach, of where are we at kind of health-wise? Again, we have a little bit of a layoff before we see our next contest against Northern Colorado here in town, but where we are kind of health-wise with the team.
Yeah, you know, we had a bunch of guys kind of just getting over the flu going into the weekend, and, you know, that seems to be subsiding a little bit more. We, you know, if injury-wise, you know, guys have their bumps and bruises and lower body problems right now. That this is perfect. You know, they'll be able to kind of heal and reset to get ready to go for Colorado on the 30th.
Coach, I was going to ask you, and we talked about it off air before we started the program, and you noticed through the 2 wins, and you noticed the amount of penalties start racking up Friday to Saturday, but Sunday, boy, it looks like the game just kind of, either the referees let this thing get out of hand or whatever the case may be. But were you shocked by the number of whistles in this contest? I mean, did it get that chippy?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, naturally, you play a team 3 times in a row, it's going to be chippy anyway. And it's not. It wasn't any more chippy than it should have been. It's just, you know, the official decided that he was going to call everything under the sun, and instead of let the guys play. And that, you know, when that happens, it actually ends up, when you start to call the little stuff, what ends up happening is the guys get more frustrated and more things start to happen. And I think, you know, the officials kind of missed the mark on this one. You know, instead of kind of letting the little stuff go, you know, they started calling it, and then the guys get frustrated, and then the penalties become more serious.
What we use in the phrase takes away a lot of the ebb and flow of the contest. Not saying that you lost the game because of that, but, you know, when you go in with momentum from Friday to Saturday into Sunday, and all of a sudden the game starts getting taken away by the guys in the stripes, you as a coach, I mean, it's hard to rally the troops around because they feel like they're going up against, you know, 9 on 6.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's tough to keep the momentum going when, you know, just as things start to improve on the officiating side of things, you get some momentum, you put a goal in, and then you get a minor penalty for like a slash or a cross check or something like that. I mean, given he made some good calls, there's no question. I mean, he did a good job in some areas, but there's definitely a lot of areas where he could have just kept the whistle in the pocket and let us play, and the game just drags on like that too. You know,
you as a head coach though, again, where you see games like that getting a little out of hand by the referees, where they're calling, as you said, again, everything under the sun. This past weekend, for you in a coaching style, is that where do you become a little bit conservative? Do you kind of take players under your wing and go, hey, let's try not to get a little fancy. Let's try avoid at least a little physicality. I mean, what kind of goes in your mind when you see that refs are calling basically everything under the sun?
No, that's a good question. I mean, part of the reason why I think officials in our league in the third game, you know, sort of try to call it tight is because of the reputation a third game has. Like, I think the fear is if they don't call it tight, you know, there'll be line brawls and there'll be too many fights and cheap stuff starts to happen. I get that. But the other thing is the frustration level just starts to rise, as we talked about. So yeah, it's exactly what I do, Nick. As I'll tell the guys, look, we're not getting any help from the officials here, so let's just play a tight game. Let's keep the sticks down. Let's play a simple game, get pucks deep, use our bodies and our shoulders versus our sticks, and you know, just try to work around the officiating situation. I mean, testament to the official in the third game. I mean, he was really good in the first game, and I think, like I said, I think he just was worried that if he didn't call it tight, that it would have gotten out of hand. Knowing, that both teams, we both have a lot of penalties throughout the season. We both have guys that'll drop the gloves. So I think there was a little bit of concern there. I mean, overall, the guys did a good job. I don't want to sit here and bag on the referees, but.
You can't go right ahead. We do it in basketball and football. So
yeah, but in my opinion, I think it just got. I think the calls were just a little too tight.
How tough is it for you, especially? And again, you look at the upper levels. The big guys in the NHL, all the way down to our league right here, the WHSL. Is it right? I said it right?
How about Western States Hockey League? WSHL. There you go.
Sorry, I'm dyslexic here. But anyway, how tough is it for you? Because I know when we're doing basketball, coaches don't want to get that technical on them. Or, on the football side, they don't want to get a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. For you, how tough is it to kind of put the zipper on the face there and not say anything? Because and what would happen if you do get ticketed by the official? What happens in your case?
We get fined. So if I lose,
it's not a penalty. You don't have to pull one of your.
It depends on the severity.
Okay.
I mean, they call it abuse of officials. So, I've been kicked out of games where we haven't gotten a penalty at all. He just sent me off the bench, and I've gotten penalties where, I've laid into them with expletives and I've gotten fined a couple $100, and we've gotten like a bench minor 2-minute penalty.
So it's in your case, you have to show the discipline to the young men, that, hey, we're getting jobbed, but, hey, let's go and do what we've been taught.
Yeah, I mean, I think, at the end of the day, it's important for me to, be a good role model in that sense. And, a lot of times when these frustrating games happen, you can kind of feel the tension on the bench, and guys, every time the ref makes a call, the guys are getting even more upset. And, that's when I got to pipe up and say, look, guys, we're not gonna make the ref change his mind. We got to relax. And to answer your question, like, it's very, very difficult for me to not come unglued sometimes. Mainly, I mean, for me, there's a couple of refs in this. There's like 3 or 4 refs in this league that I really like, that have a lot of experience coaching Division I, college, American Hockey League, even NHL. And when those guys officiate our games, I never have any problems. Like, even if I disagree with a call, like, I may throw my arms up and go, what was that? And they'll come and they'll actually explain it in a professional way. And then there's, some other guys that don't know how to, I mean, they don't have that experience level.
And they give you the hot-headedness.
Yeah, like, I know more than you.
I'm in charge. Well, and I made the comment last night doing the basketball game, Nick will attest it. I'm glad I'm not a coach. I mean, I did baseball for many years, being a manager. But the thing is, I have a lot of respect for the coaches, because when I see things as a commentator, and I got to call it sometimes, even though I'm a homer, I still have to say, wait a minute, that's not right, Oh, yeah. But I can't imagine what you guys are going through on the bench.
Definitely a little questionable out there. But either way, though, at least this past weekend, again, it was 2 out of 3. Again, finally got over that schneid to finally get some victories for this team again. Victories that we haven't seen in about over a year for the Cheyenne Stampede. So, again, happy to finally see that we have gotten over that hill. As I mentioned before, we have a little bit of a lull, obviously, with the Thanksgiving break. We at least coming up, at least next action for you, at least here in town at the Ice and Event Center, seeing the Northern Colorado Eagles, November 30th. As we kind of talk about with the Cheyenne Stampede, as GM Mark Lance has mentioned with us, again, a big community outreach. You guys, at least the Stampede organization, has been a little bit busy this past week. Donations, helping out the city of Cheyenne. But just talk about the kind of community outreach that you've done so far for this Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, we this morning we were out putting up the no parking signs for the parade route. For the Christmas parade, which is cool. We did that last year when I was here, and I think the Stampede's done that pretty much every year since it started, and that's always great to help out. They only have volunteers, and so we get a bunch of the guys out and putting up signs and making sure the route's clear for Saturday, and we obviously we had our military appreciation, which did very well. We auctioned off silent auction our jerseys, and which pumped a lot of money back into the military charities and such. So, and then on Saturday we're actually going to be in the parade. Which I don't know how that translates to charity work, but we're going to be there and supporting our city and being a part of the whole thing. So
your charity work is waving to little kids out there, making them happy or something like that. But I did also too see that GM Mark Lancet as well too the Stampede family being able to donate some food as well too, turkeys again to needy families as well, at least for the city of Cheyenne. So again, can't stress enough of how much this organization does for this community again, just helping out, especially around this holiday times.
Absolutely, yeah. We love being a part of the community, and anytime we can give back to the community, we do it.
All right. Well, Coach, enjoy the Thanksgiving rest. And enjoy the holiday to you and your family from our family here.
You as well.
And again, it is family. Have a very happy Thanksgiving. We're going to take a time out. We're going to come back. We got more of our coaches show, but now we'll flip it from the coaches side to one of the players that will be joining us here on 1480 KRAE after these words.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Wisdom, expertise, compassion, qualities that are the foundation of Cheyenne Urological. With Doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence, you can trust Cheyenne Urological to give you the highest quality urinary care. Now offering the latest in robotic surgery, call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131. That's 635-4131. Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, The Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
Due to our stormy season this summer, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service is offering you a hail of a deal on a wide variety of travel trailers, including toy haulers. Get up to an additional 50% off MSRP on Jolly Rogers' already low prices. Check out their new and used inventory. Damaged or not, you can still travel in style. Call Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service today, your exclusive Jayco dealer, at 634-8457. See them at 6102 U.S. Highway 30 or go to jollyrogersrv.com.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480krae.com.
One of the safest choices drivers and passengers can make is to buckle up every trip, every time. In 2016, seatbelt usage in passenger vehicles saved an estimated 14,668 lives nationally. We know it will save our lives, but too often we forget, many times with dire, potentially fatal results. Make sure you and your passengers buckle up every time. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
Bad cough or the flu got you down? Dr. Howard Willis, with over 23 years of medical experience, is now your local physician for family health and primary care. Located at 1616 East 19th Street with Dr. Joseph Dobson, Dr. Willis offers that wise counsel to get you back on the road to good health. DOTs and walk-ins are always welcome. So next time a bad cold or flu grabs you, call Dr. Willis at 631-8430. That's 631-8430.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 58. For tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 26. For Thanksgiving Day, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 57. And on Thursday night, it'll be cloudy with lows around 30.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We're just a few minutes away from wrapping things up, getting ready for the Thanksgiving holiday again. We won't be with you tomorrow. We won't be with you Friday. We'll be doing LCCC Lady Golden Eagles basketball. But right now, we get a chance to chat with one of the players, as we do all the time after we get our conversation in with Coach Breen, and we get to talk to Matthew Lyszyk, who is a defenseman. And these are the guys that like to mix it up. You know, These are the guys that usually will spend time in the ever-lovely penalty box.
He's blocking shots. He's getting physical.
Yeah. He's laying it out on the line all the time.
But Matt's in the kind of precious position of where
he's the last line of defense before it hits the goalie, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's talk about where you're from and how you got here to Cheyenne.
So I'm originally from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I played actually 3 years of hockey in Minnesota. I heard about the Colorado Junior Eagles when I was up there, and they saw me during a showcase. So I actually started my last year with that organization, but I ended up getting traded here, and I just fell in love with this place right away and brought me back here for the second year.
You know, good question. What is your first thought when you hear, I've been traded?
That's a good question. It's a bit nerve-wracking a bit, like what I do wrong, what could I have done better. But then I always look at the positive side, like, all right, well, at least this team actually wants me, like, pretty good. So it gives me a lot of confidence to go to this team and show them, like, hey, you made the right choice, and I won't let this team down.
And obviously it wasn't a bad transition from you, again, going from the Colorado Junior Eagles just down the road in Windsor, at least at the time, to Cheyenne, again, a Stampede, a team that was in the same division, same team in the Western States Hockey League. So I'm assuming at least that transition wasn't too hard for you coming from both teams?
Yeah, it wasn't tough at all, just like a 45-minute drive, too. It's different if it was like, hey, you've been traded to California, going
or
Long
go all
Beach,
the way up to
right?
Canada or something like that, absolutely.
You know, you're from Colorado Springs, and again, here you're in Cheyenne, so, you know, we're talking, 3 hours away from home. How much, and I know you have a billet family here that you stay with, how much does your family get a chance to come and watch you play?
Actually, they get to see me a lot. They're actually really good friends with my billet family now, and I actually think my billet mom is a second mom, as funny as that sounds. So they're coming up a lot. Like, they're actually going to be up here tomorrow for Thanksgiving, and instead of me going down there, it's more like family time with them as well as my billet family.
That's a nice thing. That's one of the nice stories that we like to hear about the Stampede billets. And again, too, don't forget that Mark and Tammy Lance are always looking for billet families. And thank you. I'm sure that your billet family really appreciate those nice comments there. Go ahead, Nick.
Absolutely. Now, Matt, just give us a little background. As you mentioned, again, playing with the Colorado Junior Eagles, you were recruited out of playing in Minnesota. But what kind of got you into hockey? Just kind of give us, where did you start in hockey? I'm assuming Pee-wees, but what kind of led you to continue your hockey career to where it is right now?
So when I was little, my dad put me and my brother in a lot of sports to see which ones we liked. And for some reason, my brother and I just fell in love with the hockey, and we always wanted to be on the ice with a stick in our hands, and kind of just progressed from there. I'm talking like 6 years old, 5 years old, just starting right off the bat, really young, and just fell in love with it ever since.
Are you still in school?
No, sir. I graduated back in 2016.
All right. So you went to Minnesota, and you're from Colorado Springs. Would it be safe for me to say that you might have some fan support for the Colorado Avalanche? Some love for them?
My family's a big time for them, but I'm actually a diehard for the Nashville Predators.
No.
So, yeah, I actually saw that round one playoff game over the summer, and let's just say I wasn't allowed to come home that night when they won.
Understandable.
Yeah, but you know what? You know, to the Avs' credit, they did push the Predators. I think they pushed the Predators tough enough last year where they just ran out of gas when it came to taking on the Vegas Golden Knights.
Oh yeah, it was a tough series, but I think Nashville's a bit better, but that's just me.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, they've had their opportunities of recent seasons, absolutely. As we kind of asked every player with the Cheyenne Stampede, is there anyone in the NHL or at least past, present, that you kind of emulate your play style after, again, whether it's on a Nashville Predator team? I mean, is there anyone you kind of look up to in the big leagues?
Well, there's two defensemen I actually really look up to. By far my favorite player is Shea Weber. He was the captain of Nashville until he got traded. But another defenseman I really into is Erik Karlsson. I just like how his offensive mindset and his skating. But I think if I had to pick the two for fantasy hockey, I think I would still pick Shea Weber.
We're talking with Matthew Lyszyk from the Cheyenne Stampede, and again, being traded from the Northern Colorado Eagles.
At least the Colorado Junior Eagles.
The Colorado Junior Eagles to here. I guess getting the monkey off our back this weekend. And again, as fans, me, Nick, you as a player, Coach Breen, getting those two big wins at Steamboat Springs. And again, you've seen the good, you've seen the bad, you've seen the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess being in that locker room after it was all said and done for the 3-game series.
It was energizing. We were fueled with fire, and we're just some of the guys don't even want to leave for Thanksgiving. We just want to get back on the ice and get ready to show the Eagles what we're made of now.
But at least getting over that schneid, though, I mean, it's something that you know how to continue on with those victories. Did this kind of Thanksgiving break come at a bad time, or do you see it as a positive to kind of, as Coach Breen was talking about, little players maybe a little fatigued, have a little injuries to overcome? With this Thanksgiving holiday, do you kind of see it as a momentum killer, or is it a thankful kind of break?
I see it more as a thankful break, because you're right, as Coach said, players are starting to get a little fatigued and sore, and some are a little bit homesick, but that's totally normal and fine. But I think it's actually going to be a momentum builder, because now we're going to come out with fresh legs and great mindsets and right out the gate.
I don't think Matthew gets too fatigued during the games. If I'm looking at these penalty minutes here,
he's kind of sitting in the box for
time he's taking a couple of minutes off here and there, so he's doing all right. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you, bud. Thanks for coming in. We do appreciate it. Again, you, me, Nick will be in McCook, Nebraska, beginning Friday afternoon. We'll have the Lady Golden Eagles. They'll go up against Northwest Kansas, the Lady Mavericks, and then Saturday afternoon, 12 noon, I do believe that will be the tap time. It will be the CSU club team.
Tentative CSU club team again, a team that did not show up last year. But
well, we'll just say, for argument's sake, they will be there, and we'll have a noon tip-off. So we'll have a double dip of basketball action coming from McCook, Nebraska, here over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. All right, before we wrap things up, coming up the